Hello guys, I'm John Ward and welcome to the Appalachian Homes, People and Places Facebook page, and today I am very excited. As you can see, we're in front of a house that's almost 200 years old. Actually, it's not a house, it was the kitchen to the main house, the John Kincaid house here on Old Middlesboro Highway in Campbell County, and this was built around 1830. And the amazing thing about this is it's got a spring that runs through it. So what they did was they made a kitchen with running water in 1830. And cool thing about it is they turned one side of it into a cooler where this cold water comes through and would keep the milk cold and the different items that needed to stay cold and refrigerate it. They had a refrigerator on one side. On the left side was where they cooked, and upstairs was where the slaves stayed and lived to get up in the morning and come down and cook and work during the day. And we have some really cool things to look at. So you want to follow me? Whoa, wait a minute. I've got to put some boots on because I'm not getting in there with them. So let me get my boots out. Follow me and see this spring that runs underneath this house. This would have been what I call the cool storage room or the cooler. These houses were common on plantations in the 1800s. They didn't want to cook inside the house because of the heat in the summertime. Plus, there was always a risk of fire. So kitchen houses was always something on big plantations that was put out separate and in a separate building. This one happens to be built on a very well-flowing spring. Imagine in 1840s having a kitchen with running water like this, cool storage down here in this room. I think I can get in here. I just wanted to come and show you guys this running water. I just thought it was really cool that it come right through the wall. And you can see right here where they made another port for the water to go down the middle of the main floor. This kept the kitchen cool in the summer. This cool water running through made it much cooler. They had access to water to wash dishes, to cook with. I can imagine there was probably some storage shelves in here, and they had potatoes and corn or different things. I'm not for sure what they would have. I can imagine the moisture is very rough on anything that you put there. There was never, I don't believe, ever a floor in this room. I believe this was kept gravel or rock for the water to come through. You can see how the steps go down into this room, and this room would have been level with a floor in it. So this was found last time I was here. I found this, thought this was cool. This, apparently the door that somewhere rotted away, and that's what's left. It might have been the door that went here. But now I'm back down here to the main flow, the main source of Glade Springs. But you can see how they took the brick and bricked right in all the way around that rock. So there's a lot of different stories about John Kincaid, some good, some bad. I've been doing some research, and before I actually started on this property, I wanted to see what kind of slave owner he was. So I did a little research and found out that apparently he was a very good to his slaves. Actually, his slaves were artisans. They built homes for him apparently all the time, all up the valley here for all of his kids and family. And maybe I can research that more, and maybe we can get to access to some of the other Kincaid homes in the future. So I'm not for sure if this was a kitchen during Kincaid's time. It's got a fireplace. I'm sure there's some people that could date these bricks and give me a really good idea, and there might be some renting history on it too. So we'll be looking into that at different times. To the front porch. This is the side of the house. This section has been built on. I'm not for sure at what time. We're going to research that, and we'll be coming back to do a lot more research on this place. But this is what's interesting and what probably drawed me to this property. This property seemed to be calling to me. When I took that picture in 2014, I had no clue that all this area here, Glade Springs, this was the actual springs. You can see the steps right down there where they could walk down. This area needs to be cleaned out at some point, and the new family that owns it has plans on restoring this property. It's going to be an amazing place at some point when they can get around to it. They're a very busy family. So we're right here. Let's walk upstairs and let's look in here. We don't know who the last person was that lived here. We've been told that this house was used by Doc Howard when he bought the property in 1927. He first used this as a clinic, from what I've been told, and everything's subject to a matter of opinion. In history, we only find maybe what's written, and still that's a matter of opinion sometimes. But yes, this was a slave plantation, and this is some of the slave quarters right here where they would have lived upstairs. This looks like it's been setting for many years without anybody living in it. Just talked to the neighbor lady a little while ago. She came out that lives in front of this property, and she's also heard that the reason that Doc Howard did not use this property is because that it was haunted and nobody could live here. So Doc Howard then started treating his patients in this main house, and we'll be doing more stories of that too. But it's a beautiful morning, and I wanted to come. We had a big rain last night, and I wanted to come and see what Glade Springs looked like after a big rain. And we can see it right down there, the water coming out. Right out the back of the building, and I'm going to go down there. Right at the edge of this property, we have Cedar Creek that runs into Norris Lake. This property was purchased about 4 years ago by the Stanley family. And they're a young family. They have 5 kids still at home. So they have a lot on their hands. They're a working class family. They're working. Jessica sells real estate. So if you're looking for real estate, got anything for sale, Jessica can take care of it for you. She also does property management. And her husband, Steve, does construction work. And he does building and stuff too. So I really appreciate them letting me have access to this property to let everybody see this amazing place. Out this window here, we can see the spring down there again. These soffits, the way they're built, they have the brick that rolls over, and those was typical of Kincaid style houses. It's believed that Kincaid maybe built as many as 20 different houses before he was assassinated right here on this property in 1865. There's different speculations of what caused his death. From what I can find, I believe he did loan money to a lot of people because he was a very wealthy man. And sometimes he would have to repossess that property if they didn't make their payments. So from the stories I get, the sheriff had sent an eviction notice maybe on a property, and the owner of the property was not very happy about that. And so he decided he would just go, if he was going to lose his property to John Kincaid, he would just go shoot him. So we don't really know what happened after that point, if anybody was arrested. These are the stairs that go down to the main floor, and I'm not going down those stairs, guys. Sorry. go. So we're going to walk down to the basement. Well, actually, I call it the basement, but it's actually the main floor. We see the main house right up there at the top of the property. This was an ingenious idea to build this for their kitchen, actually. I thought it was a house originally, but it was not built for a house. It was, or some people has referred to this as the slave house. I've lived here in this community for 20 years, up to not long ago, and slaves did live here, but they lived upstairs, and there was one special slave that Jessica will tell us about when I get to interview her, that probably was the head kitchen staff, had several people working under her here on the property. This would have been the front door of the house. This is the lower floor, and actually this faces what we would call Glade Springs Road, back over that way. Glade Springs right there. So this road, but this is actually Glade Springs. But I did want you to see this wetlands area back here. I think it's very neat. And as spring gets here and the greenery comes in, it's going to be very beautiful. I find it very beautiful right now. If you like abandoned buildings and abandoned places, make sure to like my Facebook page, Appalachian Homes People and Places. Hit like on there, make a comment. Comment where you're from. I'd like to know where you're watching from, what state you're from. If you find this interesting and like to see more videos, let me know. I have got to get to work. I am way past my opening time at my iPhone repair store. So we've got some neighbors over here that has some very interesting property too. And I'm gonna go try to talk to her in a minute. She came over and was talking to me earlier. So they have some historic property there too. There's a country store right there that you see. It was built by slaves is what I've been told. That property is where I originally photographed this property from. I never came onto this property without permission. So don't do that if you like exploring. Don't go onto property without permission, or you will have some people not happy. So I'll walk right up here so you can see just a little bit of the main property, the back side of the house, before I close out and get to work. I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate when you share this with your friends. If you're in the Glade Springs community in Campbell County, Tennessee, make sure you share this with people. I'm thinking a lot of people don't know that this is the origins of Glade Springs.